Canyon. A salute to the Air Force men of America.
You are about to see a situation within the United States Air Force. All information, material, and incidents contained herein are now declassified. Headquarters, Williams Air Force Base, Arizona. Special Order number 210, paragraph 1. Lieutenant Colonel Stevenson B. Canyon, serial number AO041044, in addition to his other regular duties, is hereby assigned Aircraft Accident Investigating Officer for this base. Duties will include that of Acting President, Accident Investigation Board, effective 15 September, by order of the Commander.
Mobile Control, this is Blue One. Gear check. Am I clear for touch and go?
Roger, Blue One. You're number 1.
Williams Tower, this Air Force Jet 419er 63. This is emergency, repeat, emergency. Request approach instructions, your station.
41963, this is Williams Tower. We will clear you for straight-in approach. Can you give us the nature of your emergency and your position?
Roger, Williams Tower. Fire and right engine. I'm in emergency procedure, discharging CO2 into engine now. I'm at 6,000, just passed over San Carlos Reservoir.
Mobile Control to all aircraft. Clear pattern for emergency.
41963 from Williams Tower. Radar will run a fix on you. Turn to a heading of 260.
Williams Tower, this 963. Fire warning light shows fire is out. Repeat, out. Aircraft under control.
Roger, 963. Radar has your position. Your new heading in is 275. Repeat, 275. Traffic is being cleared. You can come straight in.
Thank you, Williams Tower, but that won't be necessary. Emergency condition no longer exists. Aircraft completely under control. I'm holding altitude easily. We'll make a normal approach.
Now there's a real cool one.
Roger, 963. Call in on initial.
Williams Tower, this 962 will do. I hope you haven't been too inconvenienced by this minor contretemps. Hein?
Well, I guess he's entitled to crow a little. Mobile Control to all aircraft. Resume normal operations.
Oui, monsieur, merci.
Wise guy. You ready for me to take over? Ready is right. What's for lunch?
Roast beef?
Sounds good. I think I'll stop by the tower first to pick up Martin. Got a couple of suggestions on touch-and-go procedure.
Mobile Control, this Blue 6. Base gear check, am I clear to land?
Roger, Blue 6. You are number 1.
And I'll expect to hear from you tomorrow. Hello, Steve. Thought for a minute we had some work for you.
Yeah. About ready for lunch, Bill?
Couple of minutes. I want to wait till we bring in our emergency boy.
Who is he? You know him?
Name's Hampton, Major, out of Carswell Field, destination Edwards.
Hampton, huh? Sounds like he knows what he's doing.
He sure is relaxed, I'll say that. Well, what do you think of our mobile control operation?
I think it's fine, Bill. We can talk about it at lunch.
Good. Oh, just a minute. Shouldn't we have heard from Hampton by now?
Well, he still has 3 minutes on his ETA, sir. His instructions were to call in on initial.
Yeah, I know. Raise him, will you?
Williams Tower calling Air Force Jet 41963. Will you come in, please? 963, this is Williams Tower. Do you read me? Over.
How long since we heard from him?
Almost 20 minutes, sir. Shall I try him again?
Keep trying.
Williams Tower calling Air Force Jet 41963. Did you read me?
Yes, sir. Right, sir. Got it. Crash alarm system goes into effect immediately. The rancher just phoned in, reporting a plane crash on his range. The ranch is 10 miles north of Mesa. That'll put him here on area Bravo 65.
Bravo 65, check.
Better take the helicopter. It's pretty rough out there.
Right.
Check in. Crash alert.
Let's try a sweep 15 degrees left. Smoke over there, see it? No signs of life. Chopper 541 to tower. Chopper 541 to tower. Wreckage sighted. Grid map coordinates 3324, 11150. Repeat, 3324, 11150.
Tower to Chopper 541. I read. 3324 by 11150.
Check. There are a couple of brush fires in the area. Better get here on the double.
What about the pilot?
Looks pretty bad. Going down now. Out. Better call the field. Tell them the classification will be major aircraft accident. They won't have to organize a search. Pilot didn't eject.
Right. Engine. Cowling.
Captain, this is Mr. Jorgensen. He's here representing the engine manufacturer. Captain Mahoney, sir.
How do you do?
We brought Mr. Jorgensen up to date, and he's anxious to get started. How you doing on the assembly?
All done with the unidentifiables.
Captain, suppose you detail one of your men to help Mr. Jorgensen tag whatever else he can identify.
Right.
I'll leave it to you now, sir. The board will convene at 1300 tomorrow.
Thank you, Colonel.
Welcome, sir. Thank you, Captain. The board has only one objective: to disclose the primary and all contributing cause factors of the accident. I think we can review those factors we've agreed have been eliminated. First, weather. Second, airframe failure. Third, electrical system failure. Fourth, Hampton's medical history shows him to have been in good health, does it not, Doctor?
It does.
To continue with what we know. The scene of the crash, the point of impact, was discovered to have been here in the pine trees. This has been positively established by the fact that point of impact yielded wingtip fragments as well as glass from the navigational light. Aircraft cartwheeled to here, then exploded. All of which narrows our investigation down to two related factors. Fire and power plant failure, on both of which concrete evidence already exists.
Sir, are we on the record?
We are.
Then I must register an objection to the statement that concrete evidence already exists.
You didn't let me finish, Mr. Jorgensen. I was about to add that before our findings can become complete, we will have to determine both the cause and the extent of the fire that occurred in the air.
That's precisely what I'm objecting to.
Would it be better if you gave us your report now?
Yes, sir. I think it would. To begin with, the results of my investigation force me to state flatly that absolutely no evidence exists that would indicate a fire originating in flight.
I don't understand. You're aware that the pilot reported a fire.
I am. But whatever evidence of fire exists in and around the engine indicate that fire came as a result of impact. Now, my findings indicate further that carbon dioxide was discharged into the right engine when that engine was in normal operation.
But how can that be possible? The record shows that Major Hampton was a skilled and experienced pilot. And if he reported fire...
He could have thought there was a fire. What if there was a malfunction in the fire warning light? It's happened before. There's no possibility of any doubt about what you're saying?
No, sir. The milling effect of the forward vanes of the centrifugal flow compressor proved conclusively that the engine was functioning at between 90 and 100% of RPM at the time of impact.
Gentlemen, I'm going to recess the board to give us all a chance to go back over all the facts. We'll reconvene at 0900 Wednesday.
You eliminate engine failure and fire. You know what that leaves?
Pilot error. I don't see what else it could be.
And because you don't, you're ready to take the easy way out? Well, you're wrong, sir.
This is Colonel Hampton, father of the deceased. And, sir, may I present Colonel Canyon?
I'd like to offer my sympathy, sir.
Thank you. I'd rather have justice for my son.
I assure you that is our intention, sir. Our findings still aren't complete.
Well, then why is your verdict already a foregone conclusion? Pilot error. That's easy enough when the pilot's dead and unable to defend himself. Well, let me warn you, sir. My son will not be damned without a defense. I'll see to that.
Hydraulic pump. Definitely rotating at the time of impact.
Hi, Bill.
Hi.
What else is there?
We've got gyros and inverters and quite a bit more to come yet.
Let's go through what we have.
What's up?
I had an idea that if there was a malfunction in the fire warning light, there might be some other failure in the electrical system.
Any luck?
No, so far everything was turning at time of impact. You see that navigational check from radar?
Yeah. 23 miles off course. Still, that doesn't prove anything, Steve.
Not by itself, maybe. But it sure adds to the pilot error factor. The man that makes that big a mistake about where he is bound to make others as well.
Yeah. Say, that old man's been raising Cain, you know.
Yeah, so I hear.
That's really what I came to see you about. Tried to get him to release the tape of the tower conversation. They turned him down, so he came to me. Wanted me to tell him exactly what was said from the time he called in and reported fire.
Is he satisfied now?
No, I don't think so. He didn't say so, but I think what he really wants is to hear his son's last words.
What's he want to torture himself like that for?
I don't know. He's quite an old guy, Steve. Got his wings back in the First World War. Lafayette Escadrille. After that, the works. I think you ought to talk to him, Steve.
What makes you think he'd talk to me?
Well, I'm sure he would if you took that tape to him. I know it's impounded, but you could get it released. Will you do it, Steve?
Sure, why not? I don't feel enough like a ghoul as it is.
Come in. Cannon?
Yes, sir.
It's good of you to come. Will you sit down, please?
Thank you. Major Martin told me how anxious you were to hear the tape.
Yes, I am. But first, I'd like to tell you a few things about my son. See, I taught Mike to fly myself when he was just a boy. He soloed by the time he was 14. Mike was a natural. He graduated from the cadets at the top of his class, and then he went on to become a squadron leader with the 8th Air Force. He was one of the first to make the transition to jets. Mike was a great pilot.
I know, sir. I've been through his service and training record.
Well, but there are some things that don't appear there. For instance, Mike should have been a colonel by now. But he didn't care for command or administration. All he cared about was flying.
Shall I start the tape now, sir?
Colonel, it's only fair to tell you that I'm not going to let it go down in the books that my son failed. I'm going to prove that whatever happened up there, it wasn't his fault.
Colonel Hampton, the board hasn't decided on the reason for the accident yet. But when it does, it will make its decision based on all the evidence, nothing else.
And just what do you mean by all the evidence? Those bent-up pieces of metal that were once an airplane? What can they tell you about what really happened up there?
Williams Tower, this Air Force jet 419er 63. This is emergency, repeat, emergency. Request approach instructions, your station.
41963, this is Williams Tower. We will clear you for straight-in approach. Can you give us the nature of your emergency and your position?
Roger, Williams Tower. Fire and right engine. I'm in emergency procedure, discharging CO2 into engine now. I'm at 6,000 just passed over San Carlos Reservoir.
That was a mistake. He was really over Roosevelt Dam and Reservoir, 23 miles away.
41963 from Williams Tower. Radar will run a fix on you. Turn to a heading of 260.
Williams Tower, this 963. Fire warning light shows fire is out. Repeat, out. Aircraft under control.
Roger, 963. Radar has your position. Your new heading in is 275. Repeat, 275. Traffic is being cleared. You can come straight in.
Thank you, Williams Tower, but that won't be necessary. Emergency condition no longer exists. Aircraft completely under control. I'm holding altitude easily. We'll make a normal approach.
Roger, 963. Call in on initial.
Williams Tower, this 962 will do. I hope you haven't been too inconvenienced by this minor contretemps. Hein?
Thank you.
He called his number wrong.
Yes, I caught that. Maybe he thought it would be funnier if it rhymed. 962 will do. You never met my son, did you, Colonel?
No, sir.
None of the other men here at the base knew him?
Not that I know of.
Well, thank you for your kindness, Colonel. You won't be bothered by me anymore.
Bothered? I don't understand.
What I mean is, I'm sure that your board will do whatever's fair. I'll be leaving the base tonight as soon as I can make the necessary travel arrangements. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Yes, sir. Colonel Hampton, is there something on that tape that I should know about?
What do you mean, sir? I heard nothing that you didn't hear.
You told me your son was a great pilot. And yet he was 23 miles off course and didn't know it.
Well, it was an emergency, and he mistook one similar-looking body of water for another.
But he was off course before reporting the fire, before the so-called emergency which didn't exist. And after he thought the fire was out, when he was confident enough to refuse any special clearance, he called in his number wrong. What was the matter with him, Colonel? All right, sir, if you refuse to cooperate, you leave me no choice. I'll recess the board until a tape can be flown back to your son's home base. No one here knows him, that's true. But there the tape can be played for men who did know him. Men who flew with him every day. Very well, sir. That's what you're forcing me to do.
Wait, Colonel. You might as well know it from me.
Well, there's certainly no doubt about it, medically speaking. It's been demonstrated more than once what even a small amount of alcohol will do.
Does it have to go on the report that way?
Wouldn't have if the old man had been kept out of it. And you're the one that talked me into taking that recording to him. Well, I suppose it's my fault more than anyone else. I'm the one that forced it out of him. But still, it just doesn't make sense. The pilot, with his experience, flying the kind of equipment he did, you'd think he'd have killed himself years ago. Just doesn't add up.
You mean you don't want it to? Well, I guess none of us do. But it sure makes all the pieces fall together. You listen to that thing now, the thickening of speech, the way he slurred that word. It explains being off course, everything.
Afraid the Major's right, Colonel. In the case of mild intoxication, when you know your reflexes are slowed up, you key yourself against it. It's like a man who knows he's tipsy. He forces himself to walk particularly straight. Well, when you're in the air, that panel warning light shows red, bang, you hit that extinguisher button. You don't stop to think or check instruments.
Yes, I know. Well, for that kind of a report, we're going to need proof.
Complete autopsy will give you all you need.
How long will that take?
We've started now. We can have it for you late tomorrow.
All right, I'll reconvene the board at 1600 tomorrow. I want to get this thing over with. It's almost 10 minutes after. Will you call the hospital and see if Dr... Never mind, here they come now. Colonel Hampton, I'm sorry, but board meetings are open only to authorized personnel.
I know, Colonel, but I thought perhaps you might make an exception. I request special permission to hear the findings. It's the last request I'll make, sir.
Very well, sir, if that's what you wish.
Thank you.
The meeting was called for 1600, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Never mind, if your report's ready, let's have it.
Yes, sir.
This is the complete postmortem autopsy report signed by me and Dr. Carroll, who assisted. As you know, sir, we were primarily interested in the blood content. Very careful tests and analyses were carried out, and they were found to be negative.
What?
However, there were certain physiological changes that indicated there was from 10 to 20% hydrogen sulfide in the system.
Hydrogen sulfide?
The Major hit on that. There's hydrogen sulfide present in acetylene. Major?
The oxygen tank under analysis showed the presence of acetylene. The manufacturer of the tank was contacted, and the number of the tank was checked, and was found to be on their reject list. Their shipment list showed an overage of 1 tank on the receipts. Major Hampton's base will conclude those investigations.
Reconstructing this series of events previous to the crash indicate that the hydrogen sulfide, that is, the acetylene, was inhaled at such a rate as to be undiscoverable by the pilot. That produced a condition identical with drunkenness. Thickening of speech, loss of orientation, and eventually unconsciousness. That in turn led to loss of control and the crash. And in the opinion of the medical examiner, rules out any possible factor of pilot error.